So, this is the infamous jawbone of Glannis. I am very fortunate to be able to have such a precious specimen in my hands. So, this is the infamous jawbone of Glannis. I am very fortunate to be able to have such a precious specimen in my hands. Do you happen to be knowledgeable about the Terras? You may already know this, but the Terras are not a single species like the Dimps. The only common characteristics amongst the Terras are that they fought each other to claim their underground territories, without any specific reasons. But then one day, Glannis appeared to unify the underground world near Calicorda. That is how the Terras rapidly grew to establish a single society.
After receiving the jawbone of Glannis, biologist Vincis explained the process of how Glannis and the Terras united. It was said that Glannis unified all the underground...
What a cute child. Based on the portrait you sent, What a cute child. Based on the portrait you sent, I assume the child is about 4 years old? It's a pity that the child had to go through such a terrible experience, even before learning about the world. Rune Hunter, when a portrait is drawn in this style, it signifies that the person died of a disease. A child dying of a disease is nothing unheard of, but it is still unfortunate.
Bartender Waruda pointed out that the portrait from Sigru was drawn in just black and blue, and said how that was a way to express someone who had passed away from a disease. From those words, you couldn't... The situation was already dire when you woke up from the nightmare, because the Sandwalker you were riding on was under attack. Most people on the Sandwalker died. You were unable to do anything for the crew member Angus, who was worried for you even as he was dying. Pan arrived at Mallow Front, the camp of the guards that protected the Aphros wasteland. By defeating Dimp warrior Soak on your way here, you are now forced to help fight the Wasteland Bandits. You obtained information about the Wasteland Bandits conducting secret trades and headed to Sunrise Hill. The commotion from the Dimps got worse, and the supply of Sandwalkers was about to be cut off. Guard Captain Poshi called you to solve this issue, and said you didn't find anything at the Ruins Cave, where you went to look for Pakuso. But on your way to the Cave of Echoes, you met Pan. He was supposed to be resting at the village. Once you returned after defeating Pakuso, Deputy Captain Lance told you about the investigation of the bishop from before. The bishop was a follower of the pagan group Radonimo. Poshi asked you to go to Calicorda through the secret passage and to deliver the plans of the pagans. Since you have to travel to Calicorda in order to make it to Bellatus, you accept the request and got on the... As you arrived at Calicorda, the guards were suspicious of you and tied you up. Kristen said you were just one of many rune hunters who wanted to get to Bellatus, and that if you wanted to get past the gate, you should help defeat the It looked like the Knight Captain still didn't take the pagan problem seriously. He said he couldn't send reinforcements and told you to take care of it. You had no other... As you defeated the pagans, you reached the solitary area. The place was filled with green smoke and prisoners who inhaled the smoke. Lavia, the first prince of Traia, was imprisoned in the solitary area. Lavia was saying how it was unacceptable that he was imprisoned there without even knowing why. You succeeded in stopping the pagans at the 3rd floor of the underground waterway and ran into a mysterious man. The pitch-black hair of the man made him look cynical, and his eyes were as sharp as if they were hiding daggers. You have no idea how he knew, but he told you to head back up, since the Terras were attacking the castle. Like the mysterious man said, the Terras were attacking the castle walls with a large army. The soldiers were... You heard that a monster was climbing the castle walls, so you headed to the spire. After you defeated the Terra chieftain, Glanus, Kristen praised you by declaring you... As you followed the mysterious man, you wondered who he was and why he was helping you, but you couldn't figure out the answers. The Simis named Liet you met when you arrived in Simis Swamp seemed to be suspicious of rune hunters. He showed you the other rune hunters who were infected with the plague and said that it had already spread all over Bellatus. He also...
Search for companions in a guild.
Well, I can tell. Where are my manners? I am Liet, head of the Simis tribe at Simis. I believe you've seen them during your journey. They be Karoka and Fropo. The primal Simis. We were just like them not too long ago. The professor also studied plants in Simis Swamp and found a way to save us. The professor went to Myrtree Hill to find Myrtree leaves. That you will find the professor there if you...
Listen to me. Since you're a rune, there's a one tombstone in Blackwater Plains. It's kinda like a puzzle. I can't solve it no matter. But should I be giving this information away for free?
Did you say Pierce? I don't believe that liar in the future. Even if we can't help each other, there's no reason to share fault. With this incident, I've come to my senses.
human? Heal. Humans hurt. Need medicine.
Are you a rune hunter? Thank you for your help. This tree is fighting against the plague. It's doing its best to survive, but I fear that it will... There are already a large number of plagued trees that are spewing out contaminated spores. The trees here are caught in a vicious cycle of the plague spreading. Could you please take care of the That should do for now. Since we've resolved... Are you... It appears you've inhaled some... You will experience a seizure soon. Just place your trust in me. Aha. How are you feeling? The myrrh tree leaf has the power to fight off the plague. That's not all. The power of the myrrh tree leaf will stay with you for a while and protect you against the plague.
What do you mean, the plague? Is it serious? Who are you? I was really surprised by the news. From what I heard, wait, if you become a monster, my handsomeness will attract even more attention. I'm kidding. Anyway, I think you can relax now. You're completely healed. He must be the one the Simises call the Professor. He doesn't seem like a bad person. I mean, he did help you get cured after all.
How do you know that man?
I see. I got it. My name is Pan. I met my friend at Traum in Ortimus, and we've been journeying together ever since. One day, I found myself in a bed with amnesia. The only thing I remembered was my name, Pan. But that's also something I was told by the doctor. My friend here was the only person who offered to help during my hopeless, wandering days at Ortimus. Mentioning that, a lot of rune hunters gather at Balatus, and that rune hunters often hold lots of information, which could lead to a clue about my memories.
I understand the situation. That means your next... It is a village of settlers who come from many places. So it would be... But it won't be easy to get... The plague-infected Romalda has grown to influence the entire Simis Swamp. Romalda is too powerful to be defeated right now. So we must approach this problem one step at... Could you take care of the Romalda branches inside the polluted forest first?
How did you know that humans need... Liet doesn't like strangers. But you helped Luba and... You might be lucky.
have already passed the age of one. Simma Swamp is a place where nature stayed. When I think of that, I dislike humans. But I come visit Simma Swamp whenever you want. This is a gift. We are...
Leah told me about you, and you're just as skilled. I'm sure you have a lot of questions for me. How much do you know about the Bellitus expedition that the Trom Alliance started 10 years ago? It's no understatement to say that the war began with the fight over Tria's throne. Tria is the nation with the most advanced culture amongst the 11 nations of Trom. But unlike its elegant appearance, the internal conflicts surrounding the heir to the throne were cutthroat and brutal. Tria was split into two factions that fought over who would become the heir to the throne. Those who sought change supported Prince Favina, and those who wanted to maintain tradition supported Prince Lovia. Politicians did everything and anything to get their opinions across. The king and queen, who were supposed to remain neutral, actually supported these conflicts and eventually fought each other for their own beliefs. The one who reigned victorious in the fierce political conflict after banishing King Ulden and Prince Favina to Bellatus was Queen Romualda. Romualda didn't stop there. She formed the Allied forces with Prince Lovia as its head and cried out to start a Bellatus expedition. But as the Allied forces marched on, the nations of Trom witnessed the power of runes and essences hidden in Bellatus. Eventually, greed for those newfound powers caused the Alliance to fall in an instant. After hearing the news, Romualda promptly headed to Bellatus. But she, too, found herself helpless against the plague. Yes, Queen Romualda from this story and the Romualda of Simiswamp is the same person. We still have a long way to go before we're able to reach her. Next up are Romualda's flowers and roots. They have settled in the Corrosion Jungle and the Crimson Root Cave. Make sure you're well prepared before heading out.
Kuroko can do everything.
The evil god serpents trick the children of the 12 beings into... The evil god serpents trick the children of the... The evil god serpents trick the children. The evil god serpents trick the children of the 12 beings into moving out of Trump and into Bellatus in return for a portion of its powers. This power granted by serpents allowed its wielders to live an eternal life and even resurrect years after being killed.
You did well. How was it? What did you think of the things that Romalda has caused to bloom in Simiswamp? The plague energy from her is growing stronger each day. It is reminiscent of her will to do anything to achieve her goal. Looking back now, I'm sure you're exhausted. But although the guards who stay loyal to Romalda, I do not think they will pose any threat to you. Head over to the plague-ridden swamp. There, you will find a path to the Hall of Romalda. The way will be difficult, so please be careful.
Have you heard? Rumor has it that Queen Romalda's knight was in love with her. Even when the queen was stricken with the plague and no longer human, he stayed. At first, I thought it was just a rumor too, but I was surprised when I saw Tria's emblem on the armor of the mutated soldiers. Hey, if you're willing, why don't we work together and investigate the truth? As expected, my eyes didn't... I haven't found any clear evidence that the Queen's Knight was here. What aspect of the Queen do you think the Knight was drawn to? For beauty? My money is on him falling for the Queen at first sight. There's even a story that she was so beautiful that on days she... Hunter. Guess what I just saw? It was the Queen's Knight. This is a great scoop. The tragedy of the Tria royal family and the love of the centuries surrounding Queen Romalda. I'll be heading back to Trom, and I will be reporting on what I saw and heard in famous magazines. Wouldn't this be a more secure source of income than scouring the plague-infested Bellatus? Well, I had a great time traveling with you. The relationship between King Ulden and Queen Romalda wasn't bad, but the tragedy began when the princes were born. Prince Lovia and Prince... The relationship between King Ulden and Queen Romalda wasn't bad, but the tragedy began when the princes were born. Prince Lovia and Prince Quid were said to resemble Queen Romalda such that no one could find any traces of King Ulden. That is why the proud king decided to adopt a son without discussing the topic with the queen. But what made the situation worse was the fact that the stepson resembled King Ulden.
Informant Frode told you that the ring you found was the engagement ring of King Ulden that he created by gathering the most famous jewelers of Trom. The king and queen got a... Rune Hunter Lafa asked you to request help from a nearby village because he couldn't move due to his nausea. When you arrived at Simmos Bikul, you alerted them of Lafa's symptoms, but Simmos Kuroku said that those are the symptoms of the plague, and it was probably too late now. You blamed yourself for not trying to bring... You were able to solve the riddle of the Blackwater Plains with the information Rune Hunter Pierce gave you. But what was inside wasn't treasure, but a bunch of creatures. When you returned and looked for other Rune Hunters, Rune Hunter Crony told you that Simus Luba seemed to believe that you could be a good person, just like they perceived the professor to be a good person. When you handed over the medicinal herbs that Luba had requested to Kuroku, he told you that the reason why Liet was wary of Simus Rumbu was celebrating his 140th birthday this year, and talked about Simiswamp, where nature of the past was alive, and said that the plague was caused by human greed, and that's why you stayed with informant Frode and heard about the rumors surrounding Queen Ramalda and her knight. Just like the rumors, it seemed like the knight had stayed by Ramalda's side, even after she was infected.
It's a relief to see that you're back. I was worried about you, but I guess that was unnecessary. You're not hurting anywhere, are you? How about you enjoy your stay at Simmers Biku until you leave for Advina? It's a small village, but it has everything you need. Try to at least stay for a few days. I feel a bit attached to you, so I don't want you to leave so soon.
Ah, this tea is really, really good.
If you're a rune hunter, you must have experienced the Zodiac. Zodiacs sure are a mysterious phenomenon. I also practiced runes in the past, and there was a time I felt joy in accessing the primal divinity through the Zodiac. But there's always a time of realization. The fact that the Zodiacs are just remnants of the past. Can you understand the concept of a shining star already being gone by the time those lights actually reach your eyes? I have dedicated so much time looking into the past, beyond my own times, that I have simply neglected the present. So do not bind yourselves to the past. Live your life in the present, and try to explore your current life. Find out what makes you feel passionate about life. Only that will lead you to true freedom. At least, that's what I believe in. Are you leaving? What a shame. It hasn't been this peaceful for a while. But I hope you enjoyed your time here as well. It's time to say our goodbyes. I hope we meet again.
Salve, sir. Lately we have heard of strange activities in Nevis Mountains.
With Romualda defeated, the plague surrounding Sima Swamp became weaker. The Myrrh Tree restored its health with the care of the Simuses, and the rune hunters who were in pain also began recovering. Pan seemed to be shaken by the old man's advice to not dwell in the past. You climb the mountains while thinking about Pan's past, which you know nothing about at the moment. As you raised your head, you started to see the light of Edvina glimmering from afar. With high hopes that this place will be a stronghold for your future adventures, you hurried towards the light.
Where's Edvina? It's not that far from here, but... The current Edvina is not like Edvina of the past. But if you still want to go, I won't stop you.
Why are they on such high alert? Did something happen?
Who's there? Identify yourself!
Stop it. If it wasn't a plagued one, they wouldn't react that way. Are you coming over from Trom? You two, please join me. I'm sorry about what happened back there. I am Havis, the village head of Edvina. Edvina was founded by those who settled in Bellatus after the Bellatus expedition. We've been fending off the plague with the rune barrier until now. Everyone has been expecting something like this to happen. You said you were a rune hunter. If you wish to...
What's this? Baruki? You must be like you said.
Advina is relatively safer than that. The attacks from Plague Ones are depleting our food supply faster than we...
Is this... Thank you. It's my first time seeing you. I guess it has...
Although things are a bit crazy because of the plague, why would you leave the comforts of Trom to live in Bellatus, where creatures abound? This is Advina, where all of the hopeless people gather from 11 nations. In a time where we must all stand together to avert this crisis, a thief stole from me. But that thief just won't say where it's hidden. Please let me know if you ever find my...